Hey, Highlander fans, Mike Ventola back with you. And as we are continuing to catch up with Highlanders in the present, but also in the past as well, as we're very excited to talk to one of our alumni in Ivana Seric, a doctor. Crazy. Of course, at one time at NJIT, just a student, but now a doctor working as a data scientist with the Philadelphia 76ers. Ivana, how's everything going? How are you, your family? How's everything going on here, despite everything going on with COVID-19?
Hi, I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me here. Just came back from Croatia actually a few days ago. Family's doing well.
Well, it's great that your family's doing well. And of course, getting a chance to go back home, visit Croatia, see the family. I'm sure it was your first time leaving the country in some time. How was the travel and how, getting a chance to go back home and spending some time? What was that like?
It was great to go home for 4 weeks. I usually go in the summer during the off season. This time it was a little later than normally, but the weather was still nice. I could go to the beach, so I had fun.
We're gonna ask you some other stuff about Croatia a little bit on because I did some research. I like to try to be a student myself and learning some new things, about other countries and things of that nature, but kind of bringing things back to your playing days here at NJIT. And, when you were a student, having to, not only prepared to play basketball each day, but also to dealing with a heavy workload as a student. How much during your time at NJIT prepared you for not only your journey right after you graduated, but your journey bringing you to your current position with the Philadelphia 76ers?
I would say it's really all of it. Playing in NJIT and studying at the same time was pretty intense. And during that time, I had some time off in the summer when I would go home. Having that kind of schedule helped me during the PhD program as well, because I was just used to, always working.
So with, always working and always trying to do what you can to get better. And, when you kind of think back to your playing days on the court from the first time that you stepped at the old Fleischer Athletics Center back, for the 2007 season. And by the time you were graduating and you were stepping off back in 2011, can you remember that time from when you first stepped on as a freshman, what it was like? And then when you were a senior, think how much things were probably different during that time?
Yeah, so when I started undergrad, NJIT had only around 4 or 5,000 students, and by the time I graduated, it grew a lot. By the time I finished PhD, there was over 11,000 students. So yeah, NJIT, it has grown, and the athletic program has grown a lot over the years since I started.
And so much growth. And, for you, not only getting a chance to get your bachelor's, but also getting your doctorate as well, too, a PhD. And obviously it's, enhancing your studies and helping you prepare for your current role now. For those who may be watching that would, work to get a PhD themselves, can you talk a little bit about that process and how in depth and how much work you really have to put in to achieve a PhD?
Studying math and NJIT as an undergrad, it's really intense already. And then switching to a PhD, the level of intensity definitely changes a lot. So I would say the best advice for somebody who wants to do a PhD is make sure you really want to do it, because it takes a lot of commitment and it takes a lot of time and effort to, in the beginning, you take a lot of classes and you do your qualifying exams. And then after that, you start doing research. And it's really important to pick a topic that you really enjoy doing. My topic was computational fluid dynamics, and I worked with Professor Kondich and Professor Afkami. And it really helped to have such great mentors. That's another thing that's really important, not just the topic, but also to have good mentors in for your dissertation.
So Ivana, with, with everything that goes into your education and kind of bringing to you now to your current position with the Philadelphia 76ers as a data scientist, it's funny you hear data, which, is a word that's pretty synonymous with, sports just because of statistics and things of that nature, but scientist, science and sports, it just seems over time, both words, both entities have kind of become a marriage. For you, how can you talk a little bit about what you do as a data scientist and really what the position entails?
So right now my job is to use the data that we have from the basketball games and get insights to understand the game of basketball better and to help our team, whether that's in terms of player evaluation or in terms of preparing our team for the next game. And that was really my focus, working with the coaching staff, providing them with the data on our opponents, on our own team, and just focusing on the on-court strategy.
No, which is great. And, I guess for if you were to send a message to any student, any athlete at NJIT that may be watching this, that is studying math, but is sitting there going, but I also want to work in sports. To me, you kind of are providing an example how you can really bridge the two together. What piece of advice can you give students watching that want to kind of follow in your path or something similar? How could they go about getting involved in this career path as early as they possibly can?
I think the advice I can give is very similar to any other field. Like, try to learn as much as possible. Try to get the technical knowledge, but also basketball knowledge. In my day-to-day job, I actually use a lot of my basketball experience to make sure I'm asking the right question, looking at the data the right way. So it's really important to also know the domain. Like, if you're doing data science, it could be in many different fields. It could be advertising, it could be technology, it could be, for example, self-driving cars. But it's also important to know the context where the data lives in the real world, I guess.
No, which is great. Ivana, it's been awesome getting a chance to learn about what you're doing with the Philadelphia 76ers. As I know you're trying to do what you can to, as you said, to help the team win. But I do want to kind of shift gears a little bit, because you work for such a prominent NBA team that I know has a very passionate fan base. So I did want to ask you a question about Philadelphia. I'm sure you've got a chance to maybe venture out into Philadelphia a little bit. The big question is, do you know where the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia is? I mean, I know the answer to that. I know the answer to that because, outside of NJIT, I do work with the Philadelphia Phillies, minor league organization. So I have an idea. So I'd like to hear from you. Where's the top cheesesteak place in Philadelphia?
I would say the top cheesesteak place, it's not even in Philadelphia. It's actually in Camden. It's called Donkey's, and they have the best cheesesteaks.
That is, without question, a really good answer. I don't think too many people know about that. Some other purists, when it comes to cheesesteaks, I know they like D'Alessandro's. I'm sure you might have heard of D'Alessandro's.
Haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, it's really good. So, but no, I'm glad we got that figured out. But I said earlier in the interview, I did want to ask you about your home country in Croatia. It's funny, I didn't watch the show, but I came to find out that Game of Thrones was filmed in Croatia. So I got to ask you simply, are you a fan of the show?
I have watched it.
So did you see as they were, from watching it, you sit there and be like, hey, I think I know where they filmed this and filmed that. You can kind of see all that fun stuff.
Yes, I could actually recognize some parts. There were parts in my city that I could recognize. There were parts in Dubrovnik that I could recognize. Actually, one summer when I was home, I was out for a run and I just saw them building a set near the beach.
That's awesome. So, folks, there you have it. Ivana, she's got the inside scoop on what went down with Game of Thrones. But Ivana, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We're really proud of the work you're doing with the Philadelphia 76ers. And we appreciate you coming back and talking a little bit about NJIT as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Go Highlanders.
It's a perfect way to end it. She's got it right, folks. That's Ivana. I'm Mike. Thanks for watching.